So I hear you might be visiting Dundee soon. Well, in that case, you are in for a treat, because there is a reason why it has been called the UK's coolest city. It has a unique history and offers lots of adventures, both big and small. My name is Zbynek and I've lived in Dundee for a few years now, and today I will take you on a little tour of what Dundee has to offer, ranging from castles and museums to bars and restaurants. Dundee is a port city located in the east of Scotland, right where the River Tay meets the North Sea. It is Scotland's fourth largest city, with good transportation links to explore the other big cities, as well as the Scottish countryside and the Highlands starting a bit further up north. But it is also quite compact and easy to explore either on foot or using public transport, as most of its iconic attractions are located near the city centre. Probably Dundee's most iconic nickname, perhaps aside from Sunny Dundee, is the City of Three J's, Jam, Jude and Journalism. Jam refers to the fact that Dundee is the birthplace of the classic British marmalade, and the city's journalism tradition is perhaps best exemplified by the comic and newspaper publisher DC Thompson, who published the beloved Beano comics. In fact, it's hard to walk a few steps in the city centre without seeing a number of iconic comic characters coming to life. But perhaps the most important of the J's is jute, as in the 19th century the whole city was essentially a giant jute factory, with the industry employing most of Dundee's population. That's why I'm just headed to Verdon Works, an old jute mill turned museum, to tell you a part of that story and kick off this tour. If you really want to get a taste of Dundee's history, this is the place to do it. You will not only learn about how jute is turned from a plant fiber into a range of textile products, including seeing all this impressive old machinery in action, but also find out about the lives of the people who lived and worked here more than 100 years ago, from the lowliest worker to the richest jute magnate. I wholly recommend checking this place out. One of the most beautiful buildings those jute magnates had built now houses the McManus Gallery and Museum. Inside this gorgeous Victorian building, you will find some equally gorgeous and rather diverse exhibitions, ranging from classical paintings and ornate artifacts to nature and modern art. It is also a great opportunity to learn a bit more about Dundee's history, including its more recent chapters. You definitely don't want to miss this place when you come to Dundee, not least because it is located right here in the city centre. And right by the McManus, I had the opportunity to join the ominously titled Dead Centre guided tour by DD Tours in the historic Howth Cemetery.
They've dug out the entire length of this grave, 6 foot down, to let the whole coffin out.
These tours offer a glimpse into the darker parts of Dundee's history, both in the metaphorical and the literal sense, as one of the tours on offer takes place underground in the mysterious Dundee vaults, where they suspiciously did not let me film. I suppose you will have to explore that one on your own. Now let's take a pleasant stroll from the city centre to the beautiful Dundee waterfront.
I'm just taking a walk at the Dundee waterfront, which is where you can find a lot of the city's most iconic landmarks, including the Discovery, which is right behind me, which is a famous Antarctic exploration ship, which I'm just about to go check out up close.
This is another must-see, as you not only get to explore the ins and outs of the ship, but also explore the Discovery Point Museum, which details everything from how they built the ship to the lives of the crewmates and all its journeys. But wait, there's more! At the top floor of the Discovery Point, you will find the Discovery Dome. What seems like a lovely but somewhat routine view of the city quickly turns into a journey back in time once the projector screens come rolling down, showing you what the city used to look like more than 100 years ago. I just think that this whole thing is just super cool. But if boats are what floats your, well, boat, there isn't just one, but two iconic ships in Dundee. Just a short walk away from its younger friend, Discovery docks the HMS Unicorn, one of the oldest intact ships in the world. It has 4 decks, all open to visitors, and trust me when I say you really get to explore every nook and cranny here. Just make sure to watch out for your head if you're taller than about 4 or 5 feet. Now, not far away from the Unicorn, we can find the Dundee Museum of Transport. This was my first time visiting here and I can't recommend it enough. They have all these cool old-timey vehicles, including this beautiful retro double-decker and even an old airplane. Additionally, the whole museum is very family friendly, and the best part is that you're allowed to touch and even get into most of the cars here, so you can really get a feel for what it must have been like driving these back in the day. Leaving Dundee's fascinating industrial history in the past for now, the present Dundee is a city brimming with culture. This is perhaps best exemplified by V&A Dundee, the only Victoria and Albert museum outside of London. Opened in 2018, it has quickly become one of the city's iconic modern landmarks and a defining feature of the waterfront. The exhibitions are typically centered around art and fashion, such as their permanent exhibition on Scottish design. And if the V&A sounds like something for you, you might also enjoy visiting Dundee Contemporary Arts, DCA for short. Located on Perth Road near the city centre, the DCA features 2 modern art galleries, 2 cinema screens, workshop spaces, gift shops and even their own cafe. So be sure to check out their current exhibitions and events when you come to visit Dundee. Just a short walk from the DCA is the Dundee Science Centre, a family-friendly visitor attraction featuring various interactive exhibits and fascinating demonstrations. While many of these are primarily aimed at children, I have visited the Science Centre many times and had a great time as an adult too. So if you're wondering where to take your family, or you just enjoy learning about science in a hands-on and interesting way, this is the perfect place for you. But while it might be easy to get absorbed by the exciting indoor activities Dundee has to offer, I recommend that you don't overlook the outdoor spaces. One place you are bound to notice is the Dundee Law, a giant volcanic hill towering proudly over the city. If you are wondering about the name, Law is just a Scottish word for hell. The view from the top is certainly worth the hike, but it's also accessible by car or even the Discover Dundee open-top tour bus. But if you fancy something a bit more action-oriented, you might enjoy visiting Wild Shore Dundee, a water-based adventure hub offering a number of unique and adrenaline-charged outdoor activities, including an aquapark, wakeboarding and much more. And visiting the Wild Shore takes us back to the Dundee waterfront, which is a lovely outdoor attraction in its own right and probably the best place for a nice evening walk in all of Dundee. You might also consider hiring a bike and using the waterfront cycle path to escape the bustling city centre for a moment and explore other parts of Dundee, such as the lovely suburban area known as Broy Ferry, although you will get here just as easily by bus. When you come to visit the ferry, you can't miss the Broy Castle Museum, which tells the story of the surrounding area and how this medieval castle came to house a military force well into the 20th century. I really like this exhibition of historic weaponry, but there is also an art gallery if you are a bit more peacefully inclined. But the best part is undoubtedly this breathtaking view of the Broy Ferry beach and the North Sea. Now yearning for a taste of sad sea, I reached out to the folks at Taimara, a local charity organizing boat trips in the area. And so I boarded a lovely little boat called Badger and left the land behind for a while. I had a lovely view of Dundee and the town of Tayport on the other side of the river, and they even let me steer the ship for a bit. But hands down the best part was when we came across a group of dolphins who really seemed to enjoy our attention and started showing off their acrobatic prowess. If you'd like to book a boat trip yourself, check out the Taimara website, but keep in mind that the schedule depends on the tides. Despite lasting only an hour or so, this whole adventure left me feeling quite hungry, so I stopped by Forans Broy Ferry for lunch. This place has a warm and wonderful atmosphere, and the food is just amazing. Just look at the salmon that I ordered. And if that's not enough to convince you to come here, Forans frequently partners up with local conference organizers to give delegates a discount. Be sure to check this place out if you find yourself in the ferry. Now speaking of hospitality, let's go back to the city centre and go over some of my favourite bars and restaurants there. If you are looking for a traditional Scottish pub experience, you can't go wrong with Tickety Boo's. This place has that old-timey pub atmosphere with its horseshoe-shaped bar and stained glass windows, a great selection of food and drinks, and both staff and customers are always extra friendly here. Speaking of tradition, it would be a shame not to grab some good old fish and chips when visiting a coastal city like Dundee. For this, I recommend visiting Tail End, where you can either grab a quick takeaway meal or sit down in the downstairs restaurant. I personally could not resist grabbing some nice freshly fried haddock, and boy was it good. I even finished it off with a well-made cup of tea. The last place I'm going to recommend is a little further up Perth Road. I'm just walking up the Perth Road, which is one of my favorite streets in Dundee. It's got loads of lovely little shops, bars and restaurants. There's also the University of Dundee right here. And on the other side of the road we've got a little place called the Giddy Goose, where I'm headed just now. Giddy Goose is both a bar and a restaurant, and it has probably the coziest atmosphere of all the places I know in Dundee. They have all kinds of special deals for different days, and I was lucky enough to visit during a Taco Wednesday. It might be hard to believe, but these were somehow even better than they looked. Chef's kiss. I could keep going, but I think that by now you get the idea that Dundee is a truly special place to experience. It is a city that blends its intriguing industrial history with a culturally rich present, and it constantly keeps evolving with new developments on the horizon, such as the exciting Eden project, which aims to transform old docks into a hub for green tourism and breathe new life into the Dundee waterfront. I hope that this tour has sparked your excitement to explore Dundee for yourself and make the most out of your time in the sunniest city in Scotland. Safe travels, and I will be looking forward to seeing you in Dundee.